All right. So, how is everybody doing this afternoon, Friday afternoon? Um, we're doing the Ask Jaws just a little bit differently today because I just got back from taking the boys to the downrigging weekend at the marina where they got all the replicas of all the old colonial ships and whatnot. Gonna have a lot of pictures up on the community post later. But as we were driving home and I was thinking about how I had the rest of the afternoon off, I realized, oh yeah, hashtag Ask Jaws would not be a good look if I forgot my own video. So here we are. I'm going to just do it a little bit differently today. Got a few good questions, some interesting questions here. So, um, if you're interested in having your question answered in this video next week, sometime in the middle of the week, I post a community post and you can respond to that on YouTube. And that's usually the best way to get a hold of me. I haven't been posting, I haven't been asking the questions on Twitter. Um, because it just gets too hectic with trying to corral where everybody asks questions. So it's just best to do it this way. Any subject other than politics is up for grabs. So the first question of the day. First question of the day comes from X Fresh. And he says, what moves do I think that would make the Panthers a better team and why? Besides getting healthy. Besides getting healthy, um, locking the players in a room, locking the players and the coaches in a room. Let's be specific. I think we need to take all of the players, all of the coaches, all of the scouts, the GM, the owner, pick the entire organization, lock them in a room. I want you to have myself and Randy running the show, and Stu. Myself, Stu, and Randy running the show. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the Tampa Bay power play next to the Florida Panthers power play on a 24-hour loop. And we are going to berate them into submission until they get things right and fix the power play. That's what I would do. Now, I know that's not the answer you're looking for. Um, it's really not a lot that we can do cap space wise. Uh, I'm very content with the defensive personnel. I'm very content with the defensive personnel, especially when Ekblad comes back. Ekblad, Forsling, Stahl, Montour, Mahura, Gudis, with Kirsten and Carlson below that. I see no reason whatsoever because you would have to trade a forward. You would have to trade a forward to make space for anybody new. I see no reason to do that whatsoever. I feel comfortable with our defensive personnel. Forward wise, I mean, especially when Duclair comes back, what are you going to do? We've got a million centers. We don't need more centers. Um, we just signed Eric Stahl, because if I was going to say that we needed more experience in the fourth line, kind of got that with Stahl. He's bigger, he's a little bit lanky, but he's a bigger guy. Right now, I think I like the team that we have. Certainly, you want to think about being able to go into the playoffs with more depth, but you can also bring up guys from the minors for that depth, right? So you got maybe Heponiemi, Danisenko, um, Hutsko, a couple of these guys, Scams. Yeah, I don't look at this team and think anything other than fix the power play and get the chemistry right on the lines. I don't see any position where I say we've got to replace that guy, right? I mean, let's just play around with it when Duclair comes back. Let's play around with it. Markov with Duclair and Verhage are good. Bennett with Kachuk and Balsers. You could argue, you can make an argument for wanting to upgrade over Balsers. Okay. All right. Lundell with Hornquist and Lutzerainen. Okay, that's not an NHL third line. That's a second line by almost any team standards. And then your fourth line, whether you got Stahl or Cousins, right? You got Stahl or I said Hornquist. Did I say Hornquist? I meant Reinhardt. Reinhardt with Lundell. Reinhardt with Lundell and Lustenreinen. Yeah. And then on the fourth line, you got if you still got Patrick Hornquist and you got Lomberg at the wings, are you going to make a move to upgrade at 4C? I mean, Cousins and Stahl can do the job. Are they spectacular? No, but that's why it's 4C. So there's no area that I look at. We've got the goaltending. We've got two outstanding goaltenders. I even like Gusta, who's the third guy basically down in the AHL. I'm comfortable with this roster. I don't see any glaring need, um, and we don't have the ammunition. So it's good because I don't see a glaring need. Like I said, you could make an argument. I like Balsers, don't get me wrong. But if you wanted to nitpick and pick one spot and say we could upgrade there and not affect the rest of the team, I would make a move there. But yeah, very, very trifle. So no complaints. All right. The next question. Let's see here. The next question is from Colby. He wants to know what sports Ron played when he was growing up. Ron, for those of you who do not know, is my father. My father was a gymnast, was actually a gymnast. Excuse me. That's the only sport that I know that he played. Um, I've never heard him say that he played football. I believe, like as a youngster, he might have, dabbled in some baseball. But when he talks about his youth, he talks about um, the being a gymnast and the balance bar. That was his thing. So um, that's what he did. That's what he did. He didn't have a lot of stories about it. Like I'm full of stories, right? Ask me a question about whatever sport it was. I got a half dozen stories. He didn't have a lot of stories about it. He just said, "Yeah, I was a gymnast, so I was in shape," and that was it. I couldn't tell you more than that. I don't have any stories like I went to this tournament and I won or anything like that. He never if he has them, he never told them to me. Put it that way. So, all right, moving on. The next question is Riley wants to know, do I have a favorite goal horn? All right, so that's a tough question for me to answer because it's not like I'm a goal horn aficionado where I rated and really listened to other teams' goal horns all that much. I will say this: if you listen to the "Let's Go Panthers" song, it's a little bit warbled because I couldn't really get a clean cut of it, but Um, if you listen to the part where it says puck drop and 3, 2, 1 drop, if you listen right as he's saying, as I'm saying drop, and right after that, you can kind of hear that Panther growl. It's a little bit warbled because of the way the song was edited. Um, that's what I would prefer. To be honest, if they got rid of a horn and just had that Panther growl when the Panthers scored, that would be perfect. But in terms of any other team, goal horns, um, I couldn't tell you. You know what I mean? I know a couple of the songs, right? That's about it. So I'm sorry I couldn't answer the question better than that. But all right. We're gonna move on here to Tom Pellegrino. This is gonna be an interesting one. He says, have I contacted the Panthers about using your intro song, Let's Go Panthers, as the team's theme song? And why I say that's interesting is because the answer to the question is no. And the reason why that is if you look at the comment that was just left in the video that I just put out before this one. It was the video where I was just talking about why I'm not worried about the Panthers' slow start. Somebody left a comment. He was very nice about it. Big fan of the channel, no problem. But he left a comment that I hate the Let's Go Panther song. I hate it. Please change it. And I said, look, I can't change. If I changed everything that 10% of the people hate, I would never make videos, right? Um, and he was cool about it. I'm not complaining that he said that. I found it interesting that you asked about the goal song, and because I've only had maybe 3 complaints about the goal song, and Stu is one of them. Stu is incredibly difficult to please. He's just impossible to please. I love you, brother, but he doesn't like the songs. A few people, so there's multiple people that have said, um, in fact, in the comments, there's multiple people that have said, at first I couldn't stand it, and then it grew on me. You know what I mean? Um, there's no way I would change it. There's no way I would. It would have to be an absolute mutiny on the channel for me to change it. I've had videos of people sending me their toddlers dancing in front of the TV going, "Let's go Panthers." It's not changing. Now in terms of asking the Panthers and saying, "Hey, you guys want to use the song?" I wouldn't want to do it because opinions. Opinions. Number one, right? The more popular this channel gets, like any other thing in life, there's more haters. So that starts off with it, right? And any song, just like Sweetness, right? When Sweetness was the goal song, you had 70, 80% of the people that were like, okay, this is cool, but you're always gonna have that 20% that I hate it, it sucks, blah, 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 blah. Um, so I haven't really, and I don't think that they would say yes anyway. That's the truth of it. I don't think that they would be interested. I kind of figure if they were interested, that they would have reached out to me. Um, but I just kind of figure I don't need to. I'm already polarizing enough. You know what I mean? You either love me or you hate me. You know what I mean? And I don't think I need to give anybody any other reasons to hate me. And if 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 I asked them and they said, yeah, sounds great, then you're gonna have 20% of the people at the arena that are gonna be saying stuff about me, right? Because they don't like me and now my song's in the arena. So I don't know. I look, if the Panthers asked me to do it and they felt like they wanted to do it, I would do it. But I don't feel like chasing it. You know what I mean? I hope that answers the question. All right. Let's move on to the next question here. And I think it's a twofer. No, this one is not yet. This is Matthew J. Evans, who's a absolutely huge fan of the channel, and he wants to know, will Joel Quennville ever coach in the NHL again? And I'm going to go with not only no, but probably hell no. Um, I don't know if he wants to coach again in the NHL, much to the same reason why would be skittish about offering up the Panther song. There's there's going to be a big divide there with people that say there should be nothing, the league should have nothing to do with Quenneville. There's going to be people that say, hey, look, if he paid his price, etc., let him back in. And then there's going to be people that feel like if you read the report, it's questionable what he knew about. So, um, no, I think that's too hot of a potato. Now, that said, Deshaun Watson, right? Right? Okay. But he's a player. He's a guy that's going to make a difference on the field. Um, any team that would be ready to take that extra step that would need a Quenneville as coach, do you think they'd make that move? And that's the other thing is that first Quenneville would have to go to Bettman and it's not just going to be like they had a meeting and Bettman said, okay, cool. To me, I said this from the beginning. I think the only way that Quenneville comes back into the league is if he actually was to like have some communication with Kyle Beach, and then he came out and said, "All right, I forgive him. He can come back." I think that would be the only way. Um, I think that would be the only way he could come back. Otherwise, it's going to be so divisive. I wouldn't want to see it. There's already enough divisiveness and politics and all of that stuff in all the sports. And so for me personally, look, how old is the guy, right? He's won his cups, he's had his time. It sucks the way it ended for him, but at the same point, he has to hold responsibility for what happened back then. Um, so and even if you disagree with he was responsible, you know, the truth of it is and this is not my truth. This is just the reality of it, is that perception. It's perception is everything. It's business. Sports is a business. And there can be people that think he didn't really do anything wrong or he didn't do anything horrible. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. In the end, it's going to be the perception of him. And so no, I don't think I don't see him coming back. Let me get a sip of water here. My voice is still struggling after yesterday. Slowly getting better, but I don't know what I did to it. All right. I think the next question is two people. Yes. So we've got Storms wants to know what part of South Florida am I from? And assuming you're from South Florida, and are you a Heat and Marlin fan also? And then Roxy wants to know how the hell did I end up in Maryland? Main gist. Okay. That's That's a hell of a question. So I'm just going to try to get this out without making the video 20 minutes long. Born and raised in Miami. I lived in Mady Ives, which is basically right there. That's the road. If you walk straight down Mady Ives Road, you eventually get to Joe Robbie Stadium. My brother Gene and I would ride our bikes up to the California Club Mall, light the box up, lock the bikes up, and start walking to the stadium. We would start with $30 in our hands and a little map of the seating chart of Joe Robbie Stadium. By the time we would get to the stadium, we'd have 30 bucks in our hands and 50-yard line tickets because we would just flip flop tickets all the way the closer we got to the stadium. But remember, no internet, no phones, right? And most of these guys on the street corner flopping tickets, they don't know what they got. Everybody says, oh, it's 50-yard line, 50-yard line. Yeah, right. You talk them down, but you look at the tickets. And we had the sections memorized. So that's how I grew up, is down there. Threw rats at Miami Arena in the first year. Well, not in the first year, but when I threw rats and was there in the Miami Arena with the Panthers the first year. How I ended up in Maryland is my ex-wife, her father had property on the eastern shore of Virginia, which if you don't know where that is, if you look at a map and you see a Chesapeake, if you see the Chesapeake Bay, and then you see where it looks like there's a little peninsula that comes all the way down. It's kind of even with Norfolk. That's where he lived. And there's a 17-mile Bay Bridge tunnel that connects the Norfolk area with the eastern shore of Virginia. He had land there. So, long story short, we ended up moving around every once in a while. We moved there for a year or so, come back, move for a year or so, come back. And then we spent 2013, 2013 to 24 to mid 2014, late 2014, on an island in the Chesapeake Bay by the name of Hooper's Island, which is also called Fishing Creek. Long story short, had to move back to Florida. My ex-wife was a gypsy. She was never happy just staying in one place. No matter where we were, she wanted to be somewhere else. But we got fluffy towards the middle, around my birthday, 2014. We got fluffy in Delaware while we were still living on the island. So we went back to Florida. We stayed there about 8, 9 months, and I said, no, this dog doesn't belong in Florida. This is not how this is going to go down. That's when we moved here, got this house, and that was 2015. And you guys know the rest of the story, right? Matthias has moved down back to Florida with his mother because she's not capable of staying in the same house for more than 2 years without going just absolutely Cocoa Puffs, needing to move. And I'm happily planted where I am. And Fluffy is going to be 10, Ellie's going to be 12. And when they go, hopefully a long time from now, when they go, I'll decide where I'm going to stay for the rest of my life. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to move back down South Florida. Melbourne is the area where my parents are now, and where my ex and Matthias lives, Melbourne Space Coast. We lived there for about 10 years. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's my basic plan there is that when the dogs go, I'm going to take 2 weeks. I'm going to absolutely disappear. It's going to be like two people that know where I go, And then when I come back, I'll know what the hell I'm going to do. All right, let's see. Let's move on to the next question. I don't know how many more we have left. Let's see. This is actually the last question. So it's Positive Raven. He says, "Are you scared of the Bruins yet? They are top of the division." As I type this, and Marchand or McAvoy have yet to play a game. And then he wants to know what I think about this emoji. So last week he had a pretty cool emoji there, but as you can see, Raven, and I've checked this on I've checked it on both computers, my laptop, and my phone. The emoji is empty. It's a broken emoji. So I got nothing for you there. Now, in terms of am I afraid of the Bruins? Peak all you want in October, brother. Peak all you want in October. Okay? Have at it. Be my guest to peak before Halloween. See how that works out for you come April. Look, the Bruins are surprising some people. There's a lot of surprises going on right now. Um, I'm not surprised Panthers starting off a little bit slow. Obviously, I don't think anybody picked the Lightning to be where they are right now. Okay, let's just start there. Um, and a couple of these other teams, the Atlantic doesn't look exactly the way it's going to finish. It certainly doesn't look the way we would have thought it would have looked after 2 weeks in the season, right? Um, Boston can I'm perfectly fine. Boston, take the division, excuse me, take the President's Trophy. You can have it. You can have it. We're gonna finish in the top three in the division, which means we ain't playing Boston for round one. I ain't worried about that. Okay. See you round two. You want to see us round two? I'm good with that too. Right? It's a long season. Boston's not the youngest team in the NHL. And they're starting off good. It's a long season, but am I afraid of Boston? Nah, not afraid of Boston. Not afraid of Boston. Now, I might have been more concerned with Huberto and the toughness if we were going to have to play Boston in the playoffs. I'll roll with Kachuk. We're good, man. We're good. It's going to be a long season. But look, Ravens a Bruins fan. No problem with that. He's a good guy, and Bruins are doing good. It is what it is. Panthers will get there. Don't worry. You guys, it still should be you guys afraid to play the Panthers, right? Because once October, November is not going to look all that great. By the time, you start talking about Duclair coming back late January or late December, early January, Panthers going to be a different team as long as Duke still has his speed. It's going to add a huge element. And maybe by then, Coach will have figured out that Reinhardt goes with Lundell. It's possible. I don't know. He might wait till the last game of the season. We'll figure that out. All right. That was it for today. Short and sweet. It's on my voice had anyway, so we're good to go there. Tomorrow, Panther game starts at 4. I don't know if we're going to have a pregame stream. We live about an hour away from Annapolis. There is a Alice in Wonderland Halloweeny type of thing that we're taking the kids to. We're going to leave at like 10 in the morning. We'll get there at 11. It takes about 2 or 3 hours. I should be back in the house by 2 or 3 if everything goes right. And the game starts at 4. So that's going to make it rough to start a stream at 3 because I got to handle the dogs when I get home and everything. 99.9% sure guarantee that we're going to be streaming the full game. We should be home by then, no problem. But the pregame, that's probably not. Most likely not. So we'll start there. And then Sunday is football. We're streaming the full football game. So that game starts at 1 and the stream starts at 12. So, all right. That's it. Tonight I have to film Kyle carving the pumpkins. And if I'm going to film some stuff for Halloween, because tomorrow's the Halloween video in the middle of the day. So I can't even wait. I can't even film like the night parts of the Halloween special for the hockey game during the hockey game because it's gonna be bright outside. It's stupid. Why are you guys playing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, man? And then, from what I heard from the season ticket holders, they're playing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no trick or treating. They're not. There's no trick or treating. Come wear your costume, but like Jeff on Twitter says, I'm driving all the way down there. I'm not gonna get any candy, right? What's up with that, guys? Huh? Is there a candy shortage down there? I don't know. I don't know. All right. Appreciate all the support. And about Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, look on the community post, and I'll have the next question up for the hashtag Ask Jaws videos. All right. I'll see you guys all a little later.